Hey there, this is Leslie Kolovich, and you're listening to the SUP radio show, where we talk everything stand-up paddling. Today, my guest is Carolyn Thomas with UnderToe Mexico Stand-Up Paddle. They got a really cool deal going on called Boarding School, a week-long SUP camp on some of Mexico's most beautiful flat water. So keep it here on the original SUP radio show. Hey, Carolyn, how you doing?
I am doing great. How are you, Leslie?
I'm doing fine. I'm so glad to have you on the show today.
Well, thank you. This is it's a great opportunity to tell you about this beautiful place that we're in.
Well, first of all, before we get there, I want you to tell our listeners the story of how you guys actually made it down to this beautiful area in Mexico, because it's a great story that people need to hear.
Well, thank you. I tell you, I was just thinking this morning, I was saying I cannot believe it has only been 4 months since we left Texas and headed south of the border with not much more in our pocket than a dream. And we wind up in this remote, beautiful piece of paradise that's called Majahual. And we're about 2 hours from the Belize border. And so it's very remote, but it is so beautiful down here, and it's been exciting. But we came here because my friend Susan and I had both been in the mortgage industry for many years and living in Texas. And, you know, when the market just went to trash, we were just talking one day, and we're like, what are we going to do now? And just knowing we didn't want to, you know, kind of stay in the corporate world, and we wanted to do something that was more adventurous, came down and checked out this place and fell in love with it. And I mean, from June until October, it was just this mad dash to sell everything we could and figure out what we were going to do. And we knew from being down here that stand-up paddle boards were not being done here, and it was a beautiful place to do it. So it just looked like a great opportunity to introduce the sport of stand-up paddling.
Right on. So had you paddled a lot before you did this?
I did. I've done a lot of paddle sports, you know, done rowing and everything, but I'm, you know, from Austin.
Right.
And the subboarding had become so popular there that I had been doing it for like the last 3 years. Before that, I'd done the outrigger canoeing, and there's just nothing that compares to the stand-up paddle. It really just won my heart. It's just so relaxing, and I fell in love with it. And I just thought it would be something that other people would enjoy. And it's been interesting because this market doesn't quite know how to understand it. The locals look at it and they think it's a big surfboard, and they don't know what to do with it.
Right.
So it's been fun educating everyone.
Nice. And so tell us a little bit about where it's located. Is it on cruise line kind of pathways? You know,
Majahual is the village that is located in an area of Mexico called Costa Maya. So it's on the southern tip of the state of Quintana Roo, which is in the Yucatan. And I'd like to say now to everybody that all these Mexico travel alerts do not apply to the Yucatan. It is so insulated from all the stuff that's going on the West Coast and central and northern Mexico. So it's this area where there's a cruise ship port. And the cruise ship port is Costa Maya, so people stop here. So it's this little area that you've got to want to be here, you know, if you're coming by car, but it is so worth the effort. People get off of cruise ships, they fall in love, they come back and they buy property and move here. So it's infectious.
Nice. So you really are living a dream. I mean, it takes a lot to just say, you know what, we're selling everything. We're going to go to this little remote area in Mexico and open up a SUP shop. I mean, how cool is that?
I have been called crazy.
But I bet those people who call you crazy are so envious, too.
You know, I think they are. I think people say I really admire how gutsy you are just to go and follow your dream and just do it. And, you know, there's days that I never say, what have I done? There are days that I'm like, wow, this is real. So the reality, you know, sets in. And just living in a different country and not speaking the language and just learning a different way of life, but it's every day you get to look out at that water, and it's just like, that's what it's all about.
Nice. So I bet you're learning the language pretty quickly.
Trying to.
There you go. Yeah. Well, you got a really cool program that you're about to start. It's your boarding school, this camp. It sounds really fun.
I tell you what, I am so excited about this because there is no one else in Mexico that is offering anything like this.
Mm-hmm.
It's an opportunity for people who are either beginners or experienced to come and learn how to paddle the flat waters of the Yucatan. So it's a week-long, all-inclusive, and when I say all-inclusive, it's everything but airfare.
Wow.
And there's a whole lot that's packed into the week. But it's situated on Lagoon Bacalar, and which is about an hour from Majahual, and it is just the most beautiful lagoon of 7 colors, and it's an opportunity to stay at this eco resort, and there's a spa, and we're going to learn how to paddle the estuaries that feed into the lagoon, and then there's a day that we're going to bring them over to Majahual for some paddling on the Caribbean.
Nice.
So there's so much to it. It's just, I think it's a wonderful opportunity for people to experience Mexico and the culture and paddleboard.
Right. Very good. And some beautiful water that would be perfect for beginners. Sounds like.
It is.
And do you have any surf at all there?
You know, there's really not, because the reef that runs along this part of the Yucatan is the second largest reef in the world, only
nice.
Second to the one in Australia. So it breaks the waves. There are portions that are around Tulum where there are waves, but this area is just perfect for the flat water paddling, which is most of the people that get off the cruise ships have never experienced it. They've seen it, they've heard about it, and they so want to do it, and so it's a beautiful place for them to learn and feel comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And then personally, I just think that there's a different type of excitement about the experience of walking on water when you're doing a flat water paddle as opposed to riding the surf.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I absolutely agree. You're talking to the flat water queen here.
All right.
Yeah, and you know, the water that you're talking about and being in Mexico, I'm sure there's lots of exploring to do. I mean, you're talking about a reef. I mean, I'm sure you could take snorkeling gear out there and also do some of that too.
Oh, absolutely. On the day that we bring people to Majahual, they can either go snorkeling, they can learn how to scuba dive, and the diving here is so different than going to, say, Cozumel, because the marine life don't see that many divers here compared to the other, so they behave differently. So it's a different environment that everyone is using, and the reef is much more shallow, so they see different things. And so they can do the snorkeling, they can do the scuba diving, they could get a jump on the beach under the palm trees.
Nice.
It's very diverse.
So tell us the dates for this boarding school.
The school in April,
Mm-hmm.
and it's April the 15th through the 21st.
Mm-hmm.
Then we're going to be doing another one in June, but we haven't exactly picked out those dates yet.
Okay. So an April trip would be like a perfect spring break trip for people to come from the States, and oh yeah.
I think so too. And then the summer months, it's warmer down here, but that's when the Americans travel. They take their vacations in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a beautiful time to come down in June or July, and we're looking at doing both June and July, but probably the June one is going to be the one that we're going to be most focused on.
Mm-hmm. And how many people can you take? Is it you got limited space there?
We do. We keep the classes small. We can do up to 20, and that way that it keeps the groups small enough so that they get the personalized service. You know, one of the things that we're doing daily social events, so that everybody has a chance to, get acquainted with one another, come and talk about their paddle experience, brag about what they did and the things that they saw. And so it's very focused on creating this real sense of community with the participants.
Oh, nice.
And we'd like it to be something that they come back and want to do again, next year. And we're looking at different locations to keep it interesting, and expanding, the day trips out to different areas.
Well, it sounds absolutely spectacular. So where does one fly into to get to you?
The easiest thing to do is to fly into Cancun, and the flights are cheaper, and people, it's a 4-hour drive, but the camp includes us having, a driver there that picks everyone up and then drives them all the way down to Laguna Bacalar, and then on the return trip as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so it makes it real easy for them. All they have to do is book their flight, be there at a certain time, and then the rest of it is taken care of.
Nice. Perfect. So it's a luxury resort hotel on Laguna Bacalar. And you get breakfast, lunch, and dinner, alcohol, and that kind of stuff too included. Got to know that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Can you fish there?
Happy hour.
Can we fish there off of boards?
You know, Bacalar doesn't have a lot of marine life, but one of the things we looked at doing is when we come to Majahual, one of our dear friends is the fly fishing expert, and he has been doing fly fishing from his paddleboard. Mm-hmm. From one of our paddle boards, I should say. And so it's been very interesting watching him do that, because if anyone is interested in fishing, catching a bonefish is like a really big deal around here. They catch bonefish right there every day.
Wow.
So it's very exciting for them.
On the boards, they catch a bonefish.
They do.
Huh. Man, I can't wait to see those photos. So you're also going to have like day excursions to some of the ruins there with English-speaking guides.
We are. It's a Mayan cultural tour, and they're going to go and see how the Mayans, how they cook. Mm-hmm. See the different types of foods. Go and see some of the ruins there that are so ancient. The Mayan calendar is really a big deal right now.
I know. So that's why we need to get this trip in right now, right?
Exactly before the world ends in November,
Do it now. Get down there and make sure you see the calendar yourself. Make sure they're not, just have it hidden somewhere.
That should be the best motivation.
That's right. Get down there. See that calendar with your own eyes. Well, you got lots going on down there. And so... Okay, so you want to book right away because April is coming up very quickly. And if you're thinking about June, you want to do that as well. So where do we need to go to book these trips? To your website?
They do. They need to go to UnderToe, and that's TOE, UnderToeMexico.com. And then there's a page on there that has the boarding school. They can read all about that. Then there's a link that takes them to the itinerary. Mm-hmm. And the itinerary is pretty detailed, so it gives them a real snapshot of what the package is going to include, and then there's a link that takes them right to the reservation or the inquiry page.
Right. Very good, very good. And so this is oh man, I just want to go. I want to go. Let's go, Cheryl. Let's go.
Come on down.
Let's go. We can get a whole busload. Get to the plane. Get down there, and you're going to have plenty of free time too for people to relax. Because when you're down there in such a beautiful place, you also want that time to just lie in a hammock and just do nothing but sip on a Mai Tai or something and just relax, right?
Well, I have to tell you that the resort hotel on Laguna Bacalar has the most beautiful, it's a pier that goes out over the lagoon, and there's a palapa-covered area that has hammocks hanging everywhere, and it's just the most relaxing view, because this place is kind of situated, it's surrounded by a jungle.
Oh, wow.
And, and then the day that we come to Majahual, there's a chance for them to just, lay on the beach and sunbathe, or, after they get a massage or snorkel. So we wanted to build in a lot of things where they did have some downtime, because, it's not about coming here and staying connected with Wi-Fi, because Wi-Fi is very sketchy.
Right.
It's about coming in and unplugging from the world that you have to live in every day, and coming down and just really experiencing something that's off the grid.
Yes.
And it's, there's a really, it's a wonderful opportunity for people to just take care of themselves. It's a treat.
I love the idea of being off the grid and being connected to nature, not connected to the internet for a week long in such a beautiful place. Sounds like a fantastic, fantastic trip. And I know it's going to book up. I know it is. You guys got something really good going on there. It sounds like a special place that you're just opening up to share to the world. And the world should be very lucky to be able to come down there with you guys.
Well, thank you. I think it makes a big difference in that we are Americans, and we are starting something in Mexico with American standards. So there's that level of confidence that a traveler can have, that when we tell them we'll be there at a certain time and they feel safe and the food is good and it's safe to eat and drink, and that, we're speaking from a perspective that makes them more comfortable.
Absolutely. So will you have chefs there? And when you're talking about
Yes,
food, I love food, and, it's all about food.
Well, the restaurant at the hotel has very good reviews, and then when we come over to Majahual, there is like the number one ranked restaurant in Majahual is a place called Majahual, which is Mayan for big fish. And Jaime is the owner, and he is going to treat us to a beachside lobster dinner.
Oh, wow.
And it's just the food is so good, and it's so fresh. It's like that lobster was swimming the morning it was cooked.
Yeah, nice. Wow, it sounds like a perfect event. Anything
Well,
else?
I would love to. I can't think of anything right now, but I would just love to have people, if they have questions, to please feel free to just contact us, and we will answer any of their questions that they have. And, there's lots of pictures that are going to be provided so that they get an idea of what the place looks like. And I can just encourage them to really just do some research about, Bacalar and Majahual and just this part of the Yucatan. It's very historical. And so there's a lot of interesting information that they can learn just, by being on vacation.
Yeah, absolutely. And what a great way to see, that area is down on a stand-up paddleboard. So great job to you guys, and I hope to get down there sometime.
Well, thank you. I hope to see you very soon. I'd like to see you in April.
Well, okay. Let me get on that. Carolyn, thank you so much, and you have a fantastic afternoon.
Thank you, Leslie.
All right. See you later. Talk to you soon.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, everybody, make sure you get to UnderToe Mexico, standuppaddle.com. Thanks for being with me today, guys. Have a fantastic afternoon. Remember, you're listening to the original SUP radio show, supradioshow.com for this podcast and many more. Thanks to Redfish Ranger for the video aspect of this. You rock, girl. See you later.